A lot of people thought young Thug was done for good, but then something surprising happened, and now he's officially free after being locked up since 2022. It's been a wild ride, and today we're breaking it down. On October 31st, news came out that young Thug took a plea deal and would finally be free. His trial, the longest in Georgia's history, was supposed to last for months, but it ended unexpectedly. What's crazy is that Thug took a non-negotiated plea, meaning he didn't know what his sentence would be. By doing this, he was taking a big risk since the judge could give him any sentence. The prosecutors wanted him to serve 25 years in prison and 20 years of probation, but that's not what happened. Before the judge gave him his sentence, Thug apologized for everything.
I take full responsibility for, my crimes or my charges. I want to say sorry to my family, my mom. My mom got 11 kids. I can't say all their names, my managers, my kids that's not here. Really everybody that got something to do with this situation, I want to say sorry for just having so much time invested into this,
Thug said he would never get caught up in something like this again, and that he understands the impact he has on people worldwide. The judge then told Thug,
I appreciate that you do realize how much of an impact you have on people. It has tremendous impact on kids and young people who think, this is cool, this is what I want to do. Look at him, he's a millionaire. I can do that by being, a gangster in the streets. And that's not true. What you're likely to have happen to you if you're a gangster in the streets is you get shot, you get killed, or you get thrown in prison.
Thug pleaded guilty to possessing drugs and guns, and also pleaded no contest to leading a criminal street gang and conspiracy to violate the RICO Act. People have faced decades in prison for charges like that, but Thug caught a huge break and was released immediately. However, the judge sentenced him to 40 years in total. 5 years in prison, 15 years probation, and 20 years in prison if he violates probation. The 5 years in prison were reduced to the 2.5 years Thug had already served, so he got out of jail right away. While getting out of jail was a big win, Thug has to be extra careful going forward. The judge banned him from Atlanta for the first 10 years of his probation, and Thug must take random drug tests, make anti-gang presentations to kids 4 times a year, and do 100 hours of community service annually. He also can't promote gangs or associate with known gang members, but there is one important exception. Before Thug left the courtroom, his lawyer, Brian Steele, asked the judge to let Thug work with his brother Unfunk and Ghana. Ghana had taken an Alford plea early on, admitting YSL was a gang but never testifying against Thug. There were rumors about Thug wanting to take action against Ghana, but the courtroom proceedings showed otherwise. The prosecutors had actually offered Thug a plea deal before he took the non-negotiated plea. That deal would have let him walk free immediately with 15 years of probation, but there were other terms in the deal that Thug didn't like. It hasn't been made public yet what the prosecutors wanted, but it must have been significant because Thug turned it down, even though it meant risking a 25-year sentence. Thug's lawyer, Brian Steele, wasn't happy with Thug pleading guilty because he felt they were winning the case and could have gotten a not guilty verdict. But Steele explained that Thug wanted to get out of jail as soon as possible because his kids were struggling, and Thug also had medical issues to take care of.
I told Mr. Williams that I think we're winning the trial and we should go to verdict. But he told me I can't wait another 3 months if there is any possibility I could go home because I have children that are hurting. I have things to do and he has some medical issues that he would like to tend to.
According to Brian Steele, Thug gained and lost 75 pounds since the trial started and has mostly been eating junk food like Doritos the whole time. The judge could have given Thug a heavy sentence, but since the prosecutors had already offered him a plea deal to get out of jail immediately, the judge said it was clear they weren't too concerned about Thug being a danger to society. When the news broke that Thug was coming home, it shocked the rap world. Travis Scott, who's worked with Thug on tracks like Schizo and Skyfall, posted a picture of them together and said, "My brudda OTW home." Drake also responded to the news by sharing their track Parade on Cleveland. T.I., another Atlanta legend, welcomed Thug home on Twitter, saying, "Welcome home Lil Bruddy, it's been too long." Thug's return was celebrated by many artists and producers, with fans eagerly awaiting new music. Thug's girlfriend, Mariah the Scientist, shared that people had been laughing at them, thinking Thug was going away for good, but now she was about to hop on a jet to see him. YSL Woody, a key figure in the trial, also celebrated Thug's release. Woody had been a major part of the case, with the prosecutors trying to use him to link Thug to Big Nut's murder. Woody spent much of the trial trolling lawyers and even fired his own attorney while on the stand. At one point, he got arrested in court for pleading the Fifth after getting immunity. Woody's drama also led to Thug's lawyer, Brian Steele, being arrested and the judge being removed from the case for allegedly threatening Woody to testify. Woody faced a lot of criticism for testifying against Thug, but later apologized in an interview, saying he was sorry for the pain, the suffering, everything I caused on him and his family.
I'm sorry.
What you sorry for?
The pain, the suffering, everything I caused on him and his family.
Young Thug's trial may be over, but two of his close friends, Yak Gotti and SB, are still facing life sentences. One of the major charges against Thug was that he ordered a hit on Donovan Big Nut Thomas in 2015, sparking a war in Atlanta. While Thug wasn't charged with the murder, his friends Yak Gotti and SB were. It just came out that Yak Gotti rejected a plea deal from the state and will continue with his trial, but it's unclear if SB was offered a deal. No one expected Thug to get a plea deal that would let him walk free, and the reason behind it is wild. On October 23rd, Slime Life Shawty testified during the trial, and the prosecutors had him read Instagram posts that were submitted as evidence. The jurors got copies of the posts, but part of the caption was removed. It originally said, #FreeQua. Quamarvius Nichols and Marquavius Huey were both involved in the trial, and both used the nickname Qua. When Slime Life Shawty read the posts out loud, the jurors found out that either Quamarvius Nichols or Marquavius Huey was locked up because the #FreeQua part wasn't removed from the copy he read. This mistake led to Quamarvius Nichols' lawyer asking for a mistrial. The judge didn't grant a mistrial without prejudice, but she asked the defense lawyers if they wanted to restart the trial with a new jury. Once the prosecutors realized the case might end in a mistrial, they started offering plea deals. Quamarvius Nichols was the first to take a deal. Facing a life sentence for murder, he pleaded guilty to conspiracy to violate the RICO Act and received a 20-year sentence, with only 7 years in prison and the rest on probation. Nichols was accused of killing YFN Lucci's associate Shymel Drinks in 2022, and avoiding life in prison was a major win for him. After Nichols took his deal, Lil Rod followed suit. He pleaded guilty to violating the RICO Act and was sentenced to 10 years, but he's already serving a life sentence for the murder of Jamari Holmes in 2019. Lil Rod was just 15 when the murder happened, and he'll be eligible for parole, so he could eventually get out of prison. According to Lil Rod's dad,
Miss Willis went down to that jail and told my son, listen to what I say, I ain't telling you what I heard, I'm telling you what I know. If he say, dog gave him $10,000 to help that boy, then we'll let you out of jail.
It turns out Lil Rod's dad was exaggerating, and Lil Rod's attorney stated that Fonnie Willis wouldn't have gone straight to him to offer a deal like that. Marquavius Huey also took a deal before Thug, pleading guilty to robbery and RICO charges. He was facing multiple life sentences, but after taking the deal, Huey got a much lighter sentence of just 9 years in prison. Now, Yak Gotti and SB are the only ones still on trial. It's unclear how their cases will unfold, but right now, everyone in the rap world is focused on young Thug being free.